how do you pass your driving test? If you don't know, I'm a state certified driving instructor. I've been teaching teens and adults about 23 years. Let's go ahead and get into it. Every state has a different criteria for scoring. In the location I'm in, you have to get 25, passing score is 25 or less. We're going to go through all the basic maneuvers, what testers are looking for, what you should practice with. First, let's talk about left turns. Left turns are the most dangerous, so we need to prepare for those and do our best work. So let's go ahead and prepare for that. You've got to have great speed control coming into the left-hand turn approach. They are very dangerous because you're turning across oncoming traffic. So you've got to do your traffic checks. You've got to pull in to the left-hand turn priority lane. After you stop behind the stop line, you can roll forward. But if you roll forward, yes, hopefully you'll pass. I'm trying to help you, and I'm going live every day, so I'm blessed. Thank you, Jackson. If you go too far under the light, you won't be able to see. So you want to be 3/4 of the way into the intersection. Let oncoming traffic go by. Thank you so much for the prayers. Let oncoming traffic go by. Then when it's clear, you want to turn into the nearest lane by the double yellow. Good turns are efficient, and you want to accelerate through. Let's continue. You don't want to drift left or right. You want to make your turn short and efficient. You want to turn into the nearest lane. You got to stop behind the stop line. That's that big, thick white line. If you go past the line, that is a 1-point deduction. So you got to be mindful of that. Let's talk about turning. You got to do your traffic checks, your verification checks. You got to look left, right, and left to verify that it's clear. After you verify that it's clear, you have to have good timing. What do I mean by good timing? If you come up and pull right out, that's poor timing. That could get you a fail because you pulled out into oncoming traffic and the instructor or road tester had to do a maneuver. So you don't want to do that. You want to have both hands on the wheel. It could be 9 and 3. It could be 10 and 2. It could be 7 and 5. But you have to have both hands on the wheel, and you want to show control of your vehicle. If you don't show control of your vehicle, then the road tester might not feel like you have control, and then you're going to, it's the test hard. If you listen to this information, it won't be. It's not hard if you practice good fundamentals, you practice making good turns, you do your traffic verification checks, and you listen to me as I go through everything. You're going to be good, and you're going to pass the test. You got to do your traffic checks. You never want to pull out in front of a car. That's really important because by the time you go to the road tester, they assume that you've been practicing, you know about traffic signs, traffic signals, pavement markings, and you understand what a red arrow means, you can't go. You understand what a blinking yellow means, you can proceed with caution, and you understand what a green turning arrow means. It varies from location to location. You want to keep your turn as short as possible. If you make a really wide turn and go in the wrong lane, that could be grounds for failure because you interfered for what is going on, and it's always about being calm. Your road tester will never put you into a dangerous situation. This is why I'm taking the time to go over this. And if this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. I'm going through all the things you need to give you a good starting chance to pass that road test, and I want to hear good news. So you want to complete your turn. You've got to look left, right, left, and make your turn. If it's a right turn, you turn into the nearest lane. You make sure oncoming traffic from your left is clear, and then you accelerate through your turn. You want to have good acceleration. Thank you. You want to have good acceleration. If you hit the gas too hard, the car will lunge forward. You could get a minus. If you don't accelerate out of your turn, you could get rear-ended. So that could cause you a minus there. Let's talk about stopping at an intersection. We all know what the big stop line is. That is that big, thick white line, and then you have the two skinny lines. That is your crosswalk. You want to stop behind the stop line. You're clear, and then pedestrians can walk in front of you, okay? If you're making a turn, a right turn, after you do your verifications, and I really want to emphasize verifications. What do I mean by verifications? You look left, it's clear. You look right, there are no pedestrians. You look left again. If it's clear and you can turn on red, You got to look at the sign. If there's no turn on red and you turn, automatic failure. If there's no sign and it's clear, you can proceed and make your turn once the road tester tells you what to do. Next, you want to come to a complete stop. If you come to a four-way stop, the first car to get there is the first car to leave. Four-way stops do cause confusion to beginning drivers and people taking their road test. And road testers know this. They have to make a course. They submit this course to the state. They have 3 or 4 alternative courses to take students on. They have a variety of stop signs, yield signs, residential, industrial, merging on off the expressway, and I'm going through this right now, so you're getting good value, hopefully. So you want to signal 100 feet or half a block. If you signal too early, you're going to confuse the other drivers, and if I was your road tester, I'd give you 1 minus. If you signal too late, you could get rear-ended. I would give you 2 minuses. I'd rather you be a little bit early than late. So I'm giving you my opinion since I'm a state certified driving instructor. It's better to have it on a little bit early than a little bit late. But have your blinker on 100 feet, a half a block, right? So you want to have good hand-over-hand turns, accelerating through your turn. You want to be smooth. The car should not be jerking. If you're driving a manual, you want to push in the clutch and shift to your next highest gear to have good control. Let's talk about some bonus questions they're going to ask you. If this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. Hazard awareness. If to avoid a collision, you want to stay to the right, okay? Because in North America, we drive on the right. So stay to the right. If you must hit an object, it should be a side swipe, where you're side swiping the object with the slide step. You never want to have a head-on collision. That is the most dangerous. They may ask you some other questions. Can you turn on the radio? Can you turn on air conditioning? They want to see if you take one hand off the wheel, are you going to lose control and go to the left or right, or do you have control of the car? Okay, so those are some bonus tips that your uncle gave you. Let's continue. They're going to take you through a residential area. The speed limit there is 25. I would drive around 22, 23. Every car is a little bit different. Maybe you borrowed your auntie's car, your uncle's car, you've driven it a couple times, but you're not really used to the gas and brake. It's better to be a little bit under, mile or 2 under, than 2 or 3 over. So will you see who passes? Yes, your road tester will tell you. There's a sheet. They're going to add up your scores, and then they're going to say, hey, you passed, you missed 12, you missed 15. If it's over 25, and that's my location, every location has a set number. So if you want me to do research on the different testing criteria for each state, I would love to do that. You just let me know in the comments. Next, you got to do your traffic checks on a curve. You want to go slow into your curve. Why? Because centrifugal force will pull you to the outside. So reduce your speed going in. You want to have great control. You want to show that road tester, I have control of the vehicle. I will make you feel safe. That's really important that you have that mindset. Right? Your test is going to be about 45 minutes. It depends. They may ask you a couple questions about if you have to hit something, when hit something soft. They may ask you if a car's coming toward you, what should you do? You want to drive to the side of the car or side swipe. It varies. I'll find that information out for you and let you know. The questions are good. Keep them coming. Railroad crossings. You've got to yield. You've got to look left, right, left. If you don't do that, minus. Okay? You always have to do that. And a lot of railroad crossings here in the United States do not have gates that come down or lights. So you really have to be mindful of that. And you really have to overemphasize you looking left, right, left. Your road tester won't tell you, but you have to do this. These are things you have to remember. They're going to ask you to turn the fan off or on. They're going to ask you to, they're going to see if you're going to take your eyes off the road. You have to have controlled steering. So through intersections, you got to yield. Okay, you got to look left and right. You got to keep your eyes moving. You are not a beginning driver anymore. You're not going to be staring down at the speedometer just like I'm doing. You're not going to be looking at your hands. In New York, they must pass 30 points. So let's, ooh, okay. Big Mac Sam made a video. Yes, I'm doing good. I'm trying to pump out content every day, going live, and really trying to step it up. So I'll be coming out with the podcast very soon. New York's got some good standards too. So they're very strict. New York is a huge metropolitan area. So we'll get to that. That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So you have to have your hands on the wheel as you approach the lane. Let's talk about some of the information. Merging on the expressway. Okay, we're almost done. Stay with me. Merging on the expressway, you want to go into the nearest lane. You want to get your speed up on the ramp. You have to look over your shoulder if you're going out to the left. If you're going out to the right, you got to look over your right shoulder. They have to see you, check your blind spot. My daughter got a deduction because she didn't look over her shoulder and she was a little hesitant on the ramp. It takes practice. Practice makes perfect. So you got to do your traffic checks, mirror, turn signal, blind spot, quick glance. If you hold the wheel too long, the car's going to go over to the left. Failure. You got to turn your neck. You will be nervous. Your heart's going to be pounding. You got this person with a clipboard writing information down. Trust me, I've been there. I've seen it. I teach people every day. It is pressure. You want to have smooth merge. If you're at 35 or 40, it's too. Yes, I did. I had the chance to do that and her best friend. That was really different, a little bit weird because when it's your own child, you're like, whoa. But we did good. She's seen me all her life do driver's ed. So it was great. And she thanked me because she had to drive to Florida, right, and come back. And she's like the mom of her group. And because why? Yes, I did pick her up, dropped her off at the school in the morning. I was doing driver's ed, and then I would come back and drive her and her best friend. So, and two other guys. So there were four of them in the car. I'll tell you about that later if you want to know. So you got to merge out properly, right? And if you go too fast, you're going to kind of slingshot out and be out of control. Minus. If you go too slow and a truck is coming, minus. You got to come out about 45 to 55 miles an hour, right? Some ramps in metro areas are really short. You got to hit that gas and go. Some ramps are really long and slow, 30, 35, 40, 47, 55, you understand? So it depends on the ramp and how long it is and the density of traffic. Midday, you might have a lot of traffic. Early afternoon, a lot of traffic. I know road testers who do not want to go out in the afternoon because they treat their students horribly. More on that later. Let's continue. So you do your traffic checks. They're going to ask you to do a lane change. Mirror, turn signal, blind spot. You look over your shoulder. You check that blind spot. You get into the lane. You cancel your blinker. Okay? Road testers are human. They want you to feel comfortable. Smooth entrances. You want to have good ramp speed. A cloverleaf. Cloverleaf is that long circle that goes around. You're going to have your chevron alignment signs, those slashed signs. They tell you it's a very sharp curve to the right. You've got to be about 15 to 20 on that curve. If you go too fast and go to the edge, minus. So you got to come, it's like a slingshot. You've got to build up your speed, come around 55, 56, and then you accelerate up to speed. Okay, where I am, it depends on the speed limit and where you are. We're talking about the road test and how you pass it. If you're just popping in, please give it a thumbs up. I'm answering questions. Here's some good general driving habits to have. You want to search. I should see you looking left, middle, right. You want to look ahead. You want to have your mirrors adjusted prior to you leaving the road testing facility. You're sitting straight. How long is the road test in your area? It's about 35 to 40 minutes. We do the park. Great question. It's about 35. I have some videos on the actual test. I'll show you that. It's about 35 to 45 minutes. How do you know when you're ready for the test? When you can make right turns very consistently, not going wide, not hitting the curb, when you can come up to the middle and make a really nice left-hand turn. Great question. You yield for traffic. Once it's clear, you make your turn in the correct lane. How do you know you're ready for your road test? If you can parallel park within about 4 turns of the steering wheel, not hitting the curb, not hitting a trash can or hitting a car. How do you know you're ready for your road test? When you can comfortably merge out in traffic and not like have a panic attack. We all do sometime. Those are a few indications, okay? And we'll do some more Q&A on that. I love the questions. And you want to feel comfortable. You should be able to back out of your driveway, make a right turn at the end of your corner, pull out in traffic without cutting off cars. You should be able to make a nice left turn coming up to the middle. When it's clear, you should be able to merge into the expressway. You should be able to stall park, pull in. Front end is not hitting the cement block. You should be in the lines. You should be able to make lane changes on expressways. And also coming up to four-way stops. You want to have a complete stop for 3 seconds. You look left, you look right, you look left, and then you proceed. So you should be able to do some of those minimal things consistently, okay? Reversing is practice. You have to look out of your back window. You got to cover your brake. You don't want to hit the gas. If you hit the gas too hard, then you're going to lunge out. Remember, there's a shortage of instructors and road testers. So we heard from New York that it could be 10 or 15 minutes. I've been to New York several times. Next, you want to make sure you're braking softly. You never want to slam the brakes. If you slam the brakes, you're going to jerk the car. That could be, remember, 25 or less is the passing score. New York, 30 or less. You're going to get a few errors. Maybe you merged in too early on the line. Maybe you stopped in front of the stop line, a minus. Maybe when you turn, no wonder New York testers. New York is a huge metropolitan area, right? And New York and New Jersey, incredible volumes of people, all right? And I believe you can't take your driving test until you're 16 in New Jersey. You can't take driver's ed. I'll have to verify that and check. I'm giving some other general driving habits. You want to cancel your blinker. It seems easy, but if you don't cancel your blinker, that's a minus, okay? You want to have lane control. You have to have lane control. You want to be centered. Here's another thing. How do you know you're ready? Can you center your car? Most American cars, their steering wheel's on the left side. You'll be to the left. The car is centered. A lot of beginning drivers put themselves all the way over and the car's over to the right. Okay, let's pretend I'm driving a car. I would be over here to the left side. The car would be centered. A lot of beginning drivers put themselves in the middle and then the car's over to the right. So around drive 1 or drive 2, we work on lane positioning. I love the questions. Keep them coming. You're in the correct lane. That could be a 2-point deduction, 5-point deduction. You made a turn, you cut off a car. That could be a 5-point deduction, 7-point deduction, okay? Space cushion, you want to keep space between your car and the other car, okay? If you're just joining, we're talking about how do you pass your road test. Where I'm from is 25 errors or less. New York is 30 or less. All general things, you got to have great speed control. You cannot go over the speed limit. I do know how to drive a stick. In my career, I've had several ladies ask about stick shifts. Currently, if you have a stick, 4-ways can be tricky. I do know how to drive on a stick shift. I can teach on a stick shift. I want to do some content on that. 4-way stops are tricky because if 4 cars come together at the same time, this car, that car, the car to my right, this is my right. Okay, if you're not sure, you can give the person the right of way. Another great question. Those are areas where people could fail. They do a rolling stop. They don't stop completely. They don't yield for a pedestrian. If a pedestrian comes, you have to stop. Keep those questions coming. I could tell from the questions, you're definitely getting ready for that test. I can definitely tell, and that makes me feel good because you've been listening. A bad gap, you're too close to a car, and if someone stops, you're gonna hit them. It's called tailgating. I'm gonna mark you down. I want to see you have control, have good speed, have good space, and have a smile. That's what I look for. When you're at that level of a road tester, you got to do 25 tests. You're tired. You want to go in. Okay, let's get in and drive. Let's go around the block, right turn, left turn, merge on an expressway, merge off. And if you can do those maneuvers safely, you'll probably will pass. If you are running lights, potential failure, one warning. If you're speeding, maybe a warning or potential failure. If you blow through a yellow light and then you stop past the stop line, that could be 6 potential errors. So what I'm saying to you, go to your test early if you can, right? Because we're all human. In the morning, 9 o'clock, you're fresh, you had your coffee, you're good. I'm here for you. I'm your virtual teacher, and we'll set up, some type of Google Meets or something where I can coach you through. I definitely want to do that. Where we do, yes, I've been wanting to do that forever. Several of my friends are now road testers, so they can't test, a instructor can't test their own students. So I have to make a choice. Do I want to teach students and adults, or do I want to become a road tester? And when you become a road tester, you're just that. You're just testing people ready. There's not much interaction. Either you can drive and stop and turn, or you can't. When you're teaching from 0 to 6 or 7, you get a chance to really mentor teens and adults, teach them. So that's where my fulfillment is. So I have some choices to make going to the next 5, 7, or 10 years. That's how long I want to do this. I love the question. So yes, I want to do a collab with another instructor. I really want us to talk, and then you will be the beneficiaries of that because we each have a different point of view. So I will definitely talk to some of my friends, and during the summer, we're driving all the time. I have a few more things. Don't palm the wheel. You could lose control. Some people do that. Of course, don't drive with your knee. Don't do that. Don't drive with your knee. You want to have both hands on the wheel. Now, I'm a little injured, so you want to try to do the best you can. Do you shuffle? Some people shuffle the wheel, and you won't be able to turn real good. I want to see a good hand-over-hand turn, making a 90-degree turn. Parallel parking. There's more than one way to turn the steering wheel. I want all of you to know this. There's always a big argument about turning the wheel. If this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. You should reach out to, yes, I want to. I know multiple driving schools at my location. Set up a podcast, get in the car with them. We all can share ideas, share philosophies. That's where the real learning will come through. That's where all of you will benefit. And I've been thinking about that for a long time. I just need to go ahead and do it and talk to these people and say, hey, would you like to do a collaboration? Would you like to do an in-car lesson? So I want to investigate that. I want to say thank you. You guys have a blessed day. Subscribe. And if you got value, give it a thumbs up. Bye.